right? So I'm going to go over quickly what we did lastly, right? So we focused on right angle triangles, and we said that if here's theta, we know that here's opposite, here's adjacent, and here's hypotenuse. All right? And we know Pythagoras theorem. That's okay? And we also talked about trig ratios. Sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. Cos theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. Right? And we did some examples and I showed you how to transpose and so on, right? So for those who knew, just make a note of it. And let's take a look at some worded type questions, right? Oh, by the way, what you all saw on the Kahoot, where they gave you three numbers and asked what type of triangle it is, right? Those are called your Pythagorean triples, right? So those numbers always go together. So 6, 8, and 10, this will always be a right angle triangle, hypotenuse and two sides. That's okay, right? There's a next one that's popular as well. 3, 4, 5. Anybody know any others? 6, 8, 10, 3, 4, 5. Any more? 5, 12, and 13. Right? These are Pythagorean triples. So for example, if you see a right angle triangle, right? And here's 5 and here's 12. Without using Pythagoras theorem, you know that here's 13. That's okay? So you can learn these. There are a few more, but these are the most popular. Okay? Just make a note of that, please. Xavier, what are looking for your boy? Huh? These are Pythagorean numbers. These are the three numbers I was going to triangle. The biggest is the hypotenuse, and the next two is for the other sides. Right? So those three numbers will be on a triangle. Ready? A garden, write it down. A worded version. Here's a worded question I'm going to give you. A garden is in the shape of a right angle triangle. A garden is in the shape of a right angle triangle. A garden is in the shape of a right angle triangle. I don't know the problem, right? In the shape of a right angle triangle. First up, if the longest side is 13 meters long, if the longest side is 13 meters long, The long side is 13 centimeters long. Sorry. Comma. Find the length of the shortest side. Find the length of the shortest side. Find the length of the shortest side. If the angles in the triangle are 45 degrees. If the angle in the triangles are 45 degrees. If the angles in the triangle are 45 degrees. Take the info and see if you could draw a triangle with that info. And then we'll try to work out what the shortest side. And you'll notice something as well. Right, so I wanted to draw the right angle triangle. Give the info to give you. What type of triangle is that? Isosceles, very good. Isosceles, so you're going to have two equal sides. Huh? One of these ones. Right? Which side is the longest side again? Longest side is the hypotenuse, right? So here is 13. Where would be 45? Right? If here is 45, then here is also 45. So you want the length of the shorter side, which is here and here, right? Which rule are you gonna use? Watch it good. You have hypotenuse and you have both angles. So which rule would you use? You could use sine, you could use cos, you could use tan. Sorry, sine and cos. You can use either of these. Right? And I have a small question for anybody else. Can I use this? Can I use tan? So I want to challenge anybody. Try and use tan to get the answer. Possible. Try and use tan. And I'll tell you why in a little while. Right? For anybody else, use sine and cos and work out that. Use sine and cos and see if you can work out what the sides are. And if you want to be brave, you can. It could be done. Right, but look on yourself. You sign. Let's see what I get. You sign. Plug in your values. Let's see what we get. Yeah, the angle. Right? So if you want to call here opposites and here type adjacent, opposite is you don't know, and you know what it is, just make all the subsequent form. Let me make no sorry. Everybody. Right, so let's see what you got. So it will be, we said we could use sine, right? Sine theta is opposite over hypotenuse. So sine 45 is opposite over 13. How do we make opposite the subject? What's the rule again? Two fractions equal sine. What do we do? Cross multiply, right? So two fractions equal sine, we cross multiply. 1 by O is O, 13 by this is 13 sine 45. And we got what? 9.19. Right? Getting the habit of using three significant figures, right? Okay, so you have to learn to cross multiply. Let's say I use cos. Let's say I use cos theta. You'll get the same thing, right? You'll get cos 45 is equal to adjacent over 13. Fractions equal sine, cross multiply. A is 13 cos 45. Right. But my question is, how do I use tan? But you any idea? Yeah, come here. Did it? Come here now. No? How can I use tan? I'm really interested to know how can I use tan theta. Anybody online can help me? I would like to know how to use tan. Yeah? What? Anybody else? Close it. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay, so what I was hoping for was that you might have see something like this, right? And these two are the same, right? You might still have to come back here and work it out. But watch this here. These two are the same, right? So if I call the opposite x and ax, and they're the same, and I could probably solve for x after. So tan theta is 45, right? Theta is 45, x over x. But the only problem with this example is with x over x. Now everyone, check and see what's tan 45. Tan 45 is 1. So it might work with this example. But this is something you could have done. Give two of them the same variable and then solve it. Okay? Because we only have one unknown. All right? But it didn't work. It wouldn't work in this one. I know realize because it's 45 and it's 1. Had to be something a little bit different. All right? All right, nice. So that just to give you a little idea of how to use the your trig ratios in case you have a right angle triangle question. Okay. Anyway, when I show you angles of elevation, you'll see it there. Right. Now I want to move on. So we focus on right angle triangles. I want to focus on non-right angle triangles today. Okay. These rules here are for right angle triangles. So today I'm going to show you some non-right angle triangle rules. All right. So head up non-right angle triangle. Right, you have that calculator, right? Everybody have one? Everybody have one, right? All right. So let's say we have a non-right angle triangle, right? Let's say we have this non-right angle triangle. I want you to understand how to label it, right? Always remember that angles will carry capital letters. So here's A, here's B, and here's C. So all of it uppercase letters are your angle. That's okay? Now, opposite the angle is the corresponding length. And the length is in lowercase. That's okay? So if here is lowercase a, what is here? B, and what will here be? B. That's okay? That's the way we label it. You okay with that? Right. Now, there are two non-right angle rules that we need to learn. The first that we're going to learn is cosine rule. Okay? How do we use cosine rule? Cosine rule looks like this. Whenever you have two sides of a triangle, let's say that's A and B, and you have the angle in between here, which is you have two sides and the angle in between, and the question says, well, okay, find here, find C, we'll cosine rule. All right, so we must have what? We must have two lengths and the angle it makes. Yeah? No, because of that, it's a non-right angle triangle. If it were right angle, yes. Okay? But what I'm going to show you is that this rule and this rule link. All right? So what is here? How do we know to use cosine rule? You must have two lengths and the angle it makes. Two lengths and the angle it makes. That's okay? And the rule looks like this. I want to find C. So that's C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus 2BC cosine of the angle in the middle. Right? A and B here. A and B here. And the angle here, let's put C, because I'm using the same letters. Uppercase C. Okay? So you must have this, this, and this to work out lowercase c. All right? Those who have a sharp calculator, whenever we're working anything out, I want you to remember this, right? Anything you have to work out, you're working out this and this. These are not brackets, huh? This is just showing you how to work it in a calculator. If you have a phone, well, hopefully you have brackets in your phone, right? Work out here and here separately, right? Those lines showing you what to work out, right? Copy it down, and I want to show you how to work this out. Online, you're looking at, right? The focus today is sine and cosine rule, right? Copy it down. Right, Fishish, you ready? Everybody ready? Yep. So I want to show you how to work it out, right? Number one, let's say I gave you a triangle and I want you to find x. More than likely, I would have given you here and I'll given you here, right? And let's take an angle of 30 degrees in the middle. So again, how do I know I can use cosine rule? Because I have two lengths and the angle it makes. You understand this terminology? Two lengths and the angle that it makes. You okay with that? Right, now, how do we work it out? So we know we're going to use cosine rule. Right? Everybody watch here now. Watch up here, right? So we're going to cosine rule. Cosine rule is what? A squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine. Sorry. Yeah. Right? The reason I wrote it like this is because these two are the same thing. Right? All that happened is that a is on the outside now. I could have also written it like this. B squared is equal to a squared plus c squared minus 2ac cosine of this. Or I could have written it like this. It don't matter. Right? All you need to understand is that the length that you're trying to find is outside here, and the opposite angle is here. That's okay? So it don't really matter with versions. You okay with that? So let us substitute. What are we trying to find? X, right? So we write x squared is equal to a squared and c squared. Does it matter which is which? No, it don't matter. So I could call a 7 squared or I could call a 9. It don't matter. You okay with that? Now, minus 2 by 7 by 9 cosine of 30. Just make sure that this angle and this length are opposites. Okay? Because in the next question, I can do something like that. You have to know which angle to use. The opposite angle. Okay? Everybody okay with us? So here's what you do it. Remember, Casio people, you all can work out this whole thing in a calculator. Right? Sharp people, here's what you're doing. Put this in your calculator, but I want you to work out this. Put a bracket here. Put a bracket here. And then press equal in the calculator. And tell me what you're getting for x squared. All right? Try your phone with a phone, or you can borrow the person for next week. Oh yeah, try that in. All your but it come down, math class might be a good idea. I can be wrong. But right. Especially the one that I get an exam. 1 to now 20.8. No, don't square root. I want to got it before it's square root. Yeah? 20.88. I want the value before you square root it. Online, what you all got?
Online, I'll use the yeah, we know that bring somebody against the
Right, online, what you all got there? 20.88, nice Malini. 20.88. That's okay? And now find the square root of 20.88. Right? Because when you move across square, it becomes square root, right? Tell me what you get, two significant figures. It might be different for those who didn't round off, right? 4 point. Two significant figures. 4.57. Which one? Which one? Okay. Okay, yeah. No, they'll not get it. Anybody not getting this? Because I don't want to move on and not getting it, right? Right? That okay with that? And after you work out your value, square root it and you work it out. That's okay? Let's go again now. Online. After you work this one out, message your answer, please. Try this one here, please. Find facts. Find out it. Online, do we get a message answer, please? Everybody, yeah? Right, square root it and then we'll give me the final answer, right? Right, remember three significant figures, right? Right, some of you are struggling because you have to calculate that as well, yeah? That's now. So what you see? So again, I write in the formula, a squared is equal to b squared. Right? A is what? Is what they're trying to find, right? B is what? Well, 10 or 17, it don't matter. Right? And you have B and C. So it's 2 multiplied by B multiplied by C cosine of the angle in the middle. That's okay? So all you're doing is just substituting B, C, 2 by same values, cosine 50. Huh? So just 2 by this now. You could write 2 by 10 by 70. Same thing, right? Yeah. So x squared, anybody work it out before you square root it? How much you got? 170. 170.45. So it is square root of 170.45, which is 13.1. Right? Nice. You're in the habit of 3 significant figures. You okay with that? Who confused still? Yeah? Why you confused? Come on. Try number 3. Right? I'm making number 3 a little bit harder, right? You got you now? Find facts. You have to figure out now which angle to use. I want to see you use the right angle. Right? You all follow what B and C will be? The lengths. You all follow Isaiah, you follow what the lengths will be? The lengths here will be what? 10 and 17, right? What will the lengths here be? For this one? 15 and? Now you have to figure out, because I want you to find this. What's the angle? Okay? I'll walk around and watch you this now. Hmm? Right, you see right angle. Right. I've all the names here. Right? Pay name, please. If you don't hear your name, you have to add it to this list, right? Well, pencil. Right, Bishish, Soraya, Sadiq, Avi, Dimitri, Jamal. Wait, Jamal, no Jamal on this. Right, Jamal not here. Eliana. How do you pronounce it? Eliana. Eliana, Jenny, Shell, Gittins. It's in the exam paper. Three most important papers, right? Emily. Radha. Sure. Jamal. Next Jamal. Spell 4. Sanjida Israel. Williams. Sebastian Michel. That's the last one. Three. Ethan. Ila. You. You. Oh, yeah. Sergeant. Taisha. Sergeant. 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 Right, Ethan, yeah, Mohani online, right? Elon, is it Elon? Yeah. Gianna online, Lazama, here. Fraser. Ashton. Patron. Malik. Malik. Who's Malik? Isaiah. Al-Muslim. Right, and those who online, well, so we'll get you online. All right, nice. Let's see what you got. So we have, we know we want to find x. And then we have 15 squared plus 19 squared minus 2 by 15 by 19 cosine. If I'm trying to find here, I have to use the opposites. So that will be cosine 85. Right? Press the calculator. What you got? 536.32. So x is the square root of 536.32, which is 20. Point. Correct? 20.2. Yeah? Right. There's one more case where we can use cosine rule again. This one is the hardest, so I will do the first example. Right? This one is the hardest, right? Sometimes here's what is happened. Right? Any questions online? Right? Here's what happens sometimes, right? All the names here, right? Huh? Yeah. Oh. Right. Here's what it's happened, right? You would recognize that if you look at the formula, is a squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine a. Everybody okay with that? So it means that I could probably find this if I have A, B, and C. So here's what I'm saying. What's the answer here again? How much? That was number 2. Right. If here is 13.1, right? And the question asks me to find theta, I should be able to use this formula. Correct? So our next case for using cosine rule, is if we have all 3 lengths. Right? And I want to find the angle. Right? I want to show you how to handle it a little bit harder. Okay? So watch here. Everybody watch here, right? This one is hardly come, but it came 2025. It came 2024, Jan, I think. Right? So I want to make sure you can handle it. So in this case, right? The formula is length opposite angle. Right? So I want to find here, right? What's the opposite length? Right? So it will be 13.1. So watch it. So it will be 13.1 squared on the outside. You all okay with that? The reason why I'm using 13.1 is because I want to find the opposite angle. Okay? So 13.1 squared is equal to 10 squared plus 17 squared minus 2 by 10 by 17 cosine of the angle I am trying to find. That's okay? So how do we work this out now? One of the things I tried to point out here earlier was that we could treat this as one thing. And then we treat this as something else. One of the reasons why I write these 2 brackets is that sometimes people work this out and then they minus 2 by this. And then take that answer and multiply across. And that's wrong. Because this whole thing here is one term. So what we have to do is work out this, right? Work out this, and let's see what will happen. What is 13.1 squared? Work it out now. 13.1 squared. 171.61. What is 10 squared plus 17 squared? Check it correct. 389. What is 2 by 10 by 17? Right. Watch this here. Common mistake is what? This minus this. It's looking nicer. And it's looking like we can minus this. But you can't. And the reason for that is that this here is one term. So we have to minus this from this. But that can't happen as yet. So here what you do, right? We're trying to make theta the subject of the formula. Are you with me, sir? So I'm going to move this across. So it's 171.61 minus 389. Okay? As I move across the plus 389 and I get minus. I'm leaving this here. Go in the calculator, work out this. How much is this? How much is this? 217.39. Nice. It's minus 340 cosine theta. Follow with myself? I just doing all these steps, right? So I work out this and I work out this. I move across 389, I minus it, I got this. What's the next step? And this is multiplied. So I'm going to divide this by minus 340 and do the same thing here. This will cancel. Yeah? How much is this here? How much is this? 0.639 is equal to cos theta. What's that? Yeah, you can work it out from here one time, but I do know all the steps. So when you come next week, you can see how to do it. Right? So when you reach here now, let's make theta the subject. What you do now, Hishish? What you do now? Carry out cost, right? And what you'll get? Cost inverse is 0.639. And your final answer is what? How much? 50.3. Close enough, right? And the original thing is 50. Close enough. So you'll follow what I did? All the steps are worked out here. Carry it across and minus it. Then I divide by this and then find cost. That's okay? You have to follow every single step, right? After a while, you'll realize you could do this in your head and move it across, right? But for now, let's move with all the steps. Copy it out. Let's go again. Right, you build it up to quick variance, right? I think somebody 4 and 12 picked up. I'm not for a while. Yeah. Ah. But down. What take it out? Time after take it out. Must see long time and do something. So this thing. And all of a sudden your cameras get lame when it reach TikToks. But now I'm 17 and things come out. I will work right there. Alright, online. So remember, you have to take your time and write all the steps. Remember if the angle is theta, the length that goes here is the opposite length. All right, that's very important, right? Here is theta is the opposite length that goes. Copy it down. Who wants to come? Anybody? All take your time. Write all the steps. Alright, I'll give that one to go to the photo. You write the comment for that. Right, but the problem is I have to take one, right? Perfect, yeah. That's all the way. Huh?
Yes.
Ready? Are you ready? Right? Okay, remember what are the conditions to use cosine rule? 2 lengths and an angle in the middle, and of 3 lengths. Okay? Ready? Because you have one more rule to add on, right? Take your time, right? I'll let it come in the book, so you don't need to pack it up. Just like that, thank you. Wait, we're gonna go. Anybody else, guys? Right, come back. Come now.
Yeah, right. If you don't put, right? You can bring it to sit on me.
Sure. Sure, test the house.
I think it is. Go ahead.
Alright, so we're using cosine rules here. Right, did you choose the right length on the outside? 13, right? Because 13 is opposite to theta. E, cosine E. Cosine. Want to be minus, right? Right. Nice.
Yeah, I don't some of the minus. So you go and put in the calculator, just put 0.275.
Actually, minus 0.275.
Right? I seen one little mistake here. Come back. I'll let you fix it. Check back in the calculator, right? What is cosine inverse minus 0.
Oh, I forget negative.
Yeah, put it back in the calculator and see what I get. Cos inverse minus. Cos inverse minus 0.275. So yours was right. One or something. Why I mustn't follow everybody? That's not a problem. Drop it off and drop it off. Right. All right, nice. Perfect. You're okay with that? So when you work it out, it would have been minus. All right. When you work it out, it would have been minus because it's 169 minus 136, which is positive. And here you have minus 120. The one that we did here turned out to be minus something. Okay? And then nothing wrong with that. Just find cos inverse of minus 0.275. And you will get that 106. You don't actually have it. But everybody else has 106. But I think one perfect. Online, you're okay with that? So nothing wrong with getting the minus sign, right? Right, nice. I get some answers from online. Finally, Gianna. Gianna has always said, Sydney, you got the last one? All right, nice. So what you're going to see is you're going to see the same thing when we start pairings. Okay? You're going to have to draw it and you're going to get the same thing here. All right, wait. Been done yet? I still have 5 minutes for the pairing so till 5 o'clock. All right, what's it here? One last thing I want to talk about. Before the class started, I was saying that this rule could also be used as a Pythagorean theorem. This is the same thing. Here's how. Watch this here, right? It's just something I want to note. If I were to draw a right angle triangle, right? And call here A, and here B and C. Do me a favor. Just find cosine of this. What angle is this again? 90. Just do me a favor, right? A squared is equal to B squared plus C squared minus 2BC cosine 90. Work out this here in a calculator. What you'll get? Just find cosine 90. 0. That's some almost people there. 0. Right? Cosine 90 is 0. So whenever the triangle is right angle, cosine rule becomes a Pythagorean theorem. Okay? So make a note of that. Note that. Write it down on me there. Come on, pack up already. Note that. Note that when the angle is 90 degrees, note that when the angle is 90 degrees, cosine rule becomes Pythagorean theorem. Because just PY theorem. Becomes Pythagoras theorem. Okay? So all you please, I beg it, remember this for next week, yeah?